The Kiss by Brindley Hallam Dennis. The two couples, not often but 3 or 4 times a year, would get together for a meal in a small restaurant or bistro cafe near the city centre. At that time of the early evening, when the office workers have departed in their cars or on their trains and buses, and the late-night diners have not yet arrived, they would meet at whatever car park was nearest. Traffic would ignore them, going in the opposite direction, either for or resigned to home. Buses, lit up like chandeliers, would pass them by. Pedestrians, wrapped up in their thoughts against chill, would walk on. The scent of late flowers overhanging the pavements and brushed against, wafted on the evening air. She would always drive both ways. He would drive there, but not back. It was no use pretending. The two men always drank more than was good for them when they got together. His wife didn't mind. Besides, she rarely drank. All four were full of what they had to tell each other. The car park would be empty and quiet and grey, for they were too busy with their lives to meet during the summer months. The men would shake hands, the women would hug and kiss, and the women would hug and kiss the men. They could feel the vibration of distant motors through their shoes. She always hugged more tightly than he thought she would, even though he had learned to expect it. He was taken by surprise, but he was always conscious of the feel of her bra strap across her back, and he always hugged more tightly than he thought she would expect. He would go in to kiss the air beside her cheek, but she would kiss his cheek, a brief, wet warmth on his skin. They would sit at small tables, boy, girl, opposite their own partner. Over the meal, they would catch up with each other's news. The women would show holiday photographs on their phones. They would pass them around the table, and as they did so, her fingertips would touch his, and he would press his fingertips against hers, maintaining the contact while they both looked at whatever photograph was on the small screen. But they never looked or even glanced at each other's faces, into each other's eyes. As the drink flowed, they would become noisier, chattering away across each other, over each other, across the table, over the heaped plates of food, couple to couple, changing partners as they talked. The two men would discuss work. The women would discuss children. The women would discuss work. The men would discuss children. They would all discuss holidays they had taken, projects they were involved with, plans they were making. They were such different couples. Perhaps that was why they enjoyed each other's company so much. He knew there was not much love lost between them, the other couple. It did not leak out into the evening air. It did not waft on the evening air like the scent of flowers brushed against on the pavement. It did not pulse on the evening air like the vibration of distant motors. She seemed to him like a motor, not yet running. She seemed to him like a flower, not brushed against. She seemed to be full of untapped love. He thought she was waiting. He imagined a dam burst of love breaking from her. He wanted to undress her gently, as if to leave undisturbed for as long as possible the rupturing of some membrane, a meniscus, holding back that torrent of love. He liked to believe that she wanted that. He liked to believe that that was what she was waiting for. She would let him be tender, unhurried. She would enable that by her passivity, he thought. That particular night had been different. He had not drunk after all. They had chosen a Muslim restaurant, which was unlicensed. The food had been wonderful, and they had drunk water flavoured with lemon and elderflowers. It had surprised them how easy it was to do without the alcohol. The food, so rich and varied, so colourful, so tasty, had excited them as much as the drink would have done. Besides, they knew each other so well already, it wasn't as if there was any ice between them that needed breaking. There were no awkward silences. They had all the pent-up news of the summer to relate to one another. Seeing their reflection in the mirrored walls, you wouldn't have noticed any difference, save for the jugs of water on the table instead of empty wine bottles. They were heady with all the food they had eaten. It was dark when they returned. Tall lamps threw their shadows to the tarmac, and their cars blinked orange eyes in the darkness. Their own eyes glittered with enjoyment. They hugged and kissed in the car park, a rerun of their greeting ritual. He could feel her breasts pressing against his chest. He tried to kiss her cheek, but their faces met clumsily, mouth to mouth in the darkness. Their mouths were hungry as if they had not eaten.